I love being an NCO in the Army. I love training soldiers. You know, we are the backbone of the Army, and when I'm up front, that is something that's always paramount. It's always in the back of my mind. How am I making the force better? I'm passionate about it. I love being a trainer. I love training soldiers. I love increasing the ability of the force, turning them into force multipliers. That's my role, training the trainer and the importance of that, and that's what we do, and that's what I absolutely love doing, is increasing the lethality of the force by putting those force multipliers in there. Because if I put a Pathfinder in your unit, I've now made it easier for you to safely and expeditiously move aircraft in and around your site. The more aircraft you can move in and around your site safely and expeditiously, now you have that ability to achieve surprise and gain the initiative, which in the end ensures mission success. That's why I love doing it. I love instructing. I love improving the forces. I love the Army. It might sound kind of corny and kind of cliche, but I do it. I love the Army. I love being a part of it. I love putting on this uniform every day. The fact that it says U.S. Army, that's something I take a lot of pride in. So I absolutely love it.
I'll always place the mission first.
I'll
never accept defeat.
I'll
never quit. I'll never leave a fallen comrade.
Welcome to Drill Weekend with the Arkansas Army National Guard. I'm your host, Sergeant First Class Jim Heuston. What do you get when you combine a jazz band, a rock band, and a classical quartet? You get the 106th Army Band of the Arkansas Army National Guard. In this episode, we're hanging out with the band during their annual training. I also talked to Sergeant First Class Courtney Murray and Captain Ben Gonzalez about the new aerial gunnery course of fire here at Camp Robinson. And I sit down with Staff Sgt. Mike Morales, a Pathfinder instructor at the Army National Guard Pathfinder School at Fort Moore. We talk about what makes the Pathfinder course knowledge that every guardsman needs as the National Guard faces another year of fires, floods, and hurricanes. Let's get to it.
It's getting dark.
We just have one more marker to find. Let's shoot the azimuth that way.
Ah, what a creepy light.
Whoa, keep it down. You'll wake up the colonel. I'm trying to take a break from that guy.
Are you the ghost of Elvis? What are you doing here at Fort Chaffee?
Fort Chaffee is one of my favorite places to hunt and get a fresh haircut.
Can we get a selfie with you?
Hold on now. You need to fix your collar. And shouldn't you be wearing your PPE?
I guess so, yeah.
You're right. Hold on. Let me take my sunglasses off my head.
Be sure you're following your command's social media guidelines and that it's clear what you're posting are your own personal opinions, especially during a training event. It's simple. Just ask yourself, should I be wearing safety gear? Is anything in the background a threat to security or an indicator the enemy could use? Could this photo be used for misinformation or give a false impression of the mission? Things like that.
No one's going to believe this.
Everybody say hound dog.
Thank you, Elvis.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. Was that a good impression?
That was great.
That was
great. Sorry.
That was good.
We're in the 106 Band Room at Chapel Armory with Sergeant First Class
Chris Perkins.
And Staff Sgt. Katie Wilson.
And the rock band is called what again?
We are Charlie Rock.
Why is it called Charlie Rock?
So inside the 106 Army Band, we have multiple versions of the band, a little breakdown. So you've got the big concert band, big jazz band, but then we have what are called MPTs, Mission Performance Teams, and we break down into different groups. So you have MPTC, D, E. We're MPTC, so we went with Charlie Rock. Says rock, but we play a lot of different genres of music too.
So tonight you're playing at Youth Challenge?
So we are playing a concert. It's kind of a morale concert for the Youth Challenge cadets. So basically we're going to put together our set list that we have that we play at any concert that we do. So we have anywhere from Michael Jackson to Leonard Skinnerd, to a little country thrown in there. Myself and Sergeant Perkins, we both kind of tag team. He's our guitar player, but I'm the lead vocalist, but I need a little break sometimes. So he's an outstanding vocalist. So he takes a few songs.
Okay. Y'all like that country. I like that country. I'm a country girl. I'm from Bauxite, Arkansas. So I don't think you guys know this guy. Like, he wasn't really famous, but his name was Michael Jackson. Anybody? Okay, he was real famous. Y'all know this song, T. Maxie? You gotta sing with me, then, girls. Y'all know this. Yes, you do. Where did you come from, baby? Won't you take me there? Baby, tell me all you got to please. By my life, sugar fly with me.
Tell me a little bit about the summer. It's just starting to kick off, I guess. Is the summer season y'all's busiest season, or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, so typically the way we do it is when we schedule AT, we'll put our performances on the back half of annual training. And the first half, we're coming in, we're gearing up, we're practicing and getting our songs in order and memorized and that kind of stuff. And then we'll push to the back end of AT in the last 7 or 8 days to go out and do performances around the state of Arkansas.
Well, how about, I saw in the schedule y'all have out on the board outside that y'all have like Fort Meade in Maryland and several other places around the country or around the state.
Yeah, we actually sent one of our mission performance teams to Fort Meade, Maryland. They're doing what they call a backfill. So like when an active Army band, when they go on block leave, they usually come and bring in a National Guard band of some sort to fill in their ceremonies. Like right now they're doing a change of command for, I believe it's a brigade level entity. So it's a pretty big deal. So they fly them down there, and these guys, it's called 5-Star Brass. They're a brass quintet, and they're outstanding. So they got chosen for that because they are one of the best of the best.
And how often does that happen?
So we try to do backfills, what would you say, every other year? We try to do backfills. So last year we went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky to backfill for the 101st Airborne Band.
3 years ago it was Fort Leonard Wood, Kentucky. Was a backfill there.
Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Well, Kentucky was last year. Missouri a few years ago.
Yes. So we try to do backfills every few years, and then the years that we're not doing backfills, we do like a state tour. So because we are the Arkansas Army National Guard Band, we really go and we really support the state of Arkansas because that's our bread and butter. That's where our recruiting comes from. Our previous tag used to call us the face of the guard because like when you see us, we're always in the middle of everything performing, and we do a whole lot of recruiting events for the state of Arkansas.
I don't think they're gonna know this song either. I don't think they're gonna know it. Do you think we should just not play it and go home? Yeah?
We're gonna play a little bluegrass.
Yeah?
What do you think?
Wait, I hear this train coming. No, that's not it. Maybe they'll know it. Let's try.
So basically we have one big band. It's called the concert band. So the concert band is comprised of all of our small MPTs. We do the big outdoor concerts for the public. We try to do at least one a year with everybody. And then outside of the concert band, that splits it down into like Sergeant Perkins and I are in the rock band. And then there's like he was saying a little while ago, we have the smaller ceremonial band. We have a woodwind group. We have a brass group. We have the 5-Star Brass, which is like the ones that get to go a lot. But we do get together. We also have a jazz band that's comprised of most of the jazz players, which does not include me.
And so in the big concert band, which is the full band, I play the instrument euphonium, and Sergeant Wilson plays the flute. But when we break into those smaller groups, I'm guitar, she's vocalist, Our drummer in our rock band plays clarinet in the concert band. So we have these dual roles across each group.
How common is that amongst the band members that they have dual hats depending on the band?
Very.
Yeah, more than half our band has 2 instruments that they're proficient on that they perform in different groups.
So if someone was going to join the band, is that something you are looking for, that versatility between instruments?
Absolutely. Yeah, so when someone wants to join the band, we give them an AMPA, Army Musician Proficiency Assessment.
Yes.
I think that's right.
Good job.
And they take that test because usually it's a civilian acquired skill before they come to us.
No, not usually. Always.
It is. No, it is. Yeah. So, but when they audition on a primary instrument, and then there are extra points for an additional instrument. So if they play trumpet and that's their main instrument, if they also audition on guitar or drums, they get extra points for that.
Has anybody learned an instrument while being in the band? Is it?
Yes.
Well, as a matter of fact,
yes.
Our primary drummer for our rock band is at a school right now. He's at a basic leader course. And so we had to get creative with who was going to play drums in our group this summer. And so our rhythm guitar player, Sgt. Sellers, I went to him and I said, "Hey, bud, I need you to take over this spot." And sure enough, in about 6 days, learned how to play drum set. And we've already done 2 performances. We've got 2 performances in the rearview mirror, and he's doing a fantastic job.
So how big a challenge is that?
Very, very big.
He's an extraordinary musician. So.
Sgt. Sellers is one that I was bragging on him the other day. We were talking about the things that he does play. So he's, again, in the concert band, he's a clarinet player. You break it down into our rock band, he plays rhythm guitar, he plays lead guitar, he plays bass, he plays the mandolin, he plays the fiddle, he plays the violin, the cello, and he has this weird thing that looks like the ocarina off of The Legend of Zelda, and he plays it like a champ, and nobody understands how he does this. So he is what the epitome of an Army musician looks like. He can pick it up and go in a split second, and it's actually a little disappointing because I cannot do this. So we're so proud of him, though. It is, and I'm speaking for both of us. We're like shocked. Our original plan was to have backing tracks and him look like he was playing the drums. And he comes up, he's like, "No, I got this. Learn how to play the drum set." And the drum set's hard. It's very hard. So, I mean, it is very common for someone to pick up another instrument, but not that quickly.
Right.
Like,
usually takes years of practice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, earlier you talked about the Arkansas tour. Any favorite small towns around the state that y'all visited?
I would say our favorite gig that we play every year, if not every other year, if we're on a state tour, is Dixie Band Camp. It's a huge auditorium at the University of Central Arkansas. If you play Senior High Week, which is the high school kids, you're looking at 500 people in the audience. If you play the Junior High Week, there's 1,000 kids in there. And that's great, especially for us in recruiting purposes. A lot of people don't know the Army Band exists. And so when we get out there and we sort of plant that seed, early on, they're thinking, "Hey, there's a career field for me to do a civilian job. I can go be a nurse, doctor, lawyer, whatever, but I can also serve my country with a skill I've built over a decade." So it's really cool.
If someone was interested in finding the schedule and coming to see y'all, where would they find that? Is it online? Or?
yeah, we post it on our Facebook page. It's the 106 Army Band is how you get to it on Facebook. It is also tied into our Instagram page. So anywhere on social media you look, you can pop in 106 Army Band, and we do publish where we're going to be, like what time, who's going to be there, what the genre of music is. And like, we have tons of people. We usually are about an hour to an hour and a half late getting home every night because we have people that want to come talk to us. And the absolute common theme is, we didn't know the Army had a band. And that's what we were kind of getting at. Like, they don't know about us until they do, and then they will follow us everywhere. And it is absolutely amazing. It's a great outreach for us because, like he was saying, we all do have civilian jobs. So I run a crochet business. I make crocheted stuffed animals, and Sergeant Perkins is a high school principal. So this is not what we do every day. Neither one of us are full-time musicians anymore. You were a band director before he started a principal job. He was a band director. I did not do well at teaching, so I never taught the kids, but I was a professional musician. And now neither one of us do it, so this is our absolute passion. We get a kick out of every show. It is so much fun.
You hear me? American Soldier, King. Guys, we are with, here we go. We are with the 106 Army Band. We're actually based here on post. So what we do is we travel around the state of Arkansas and we play for families, we play for people like you, we go to band camps, that kind of stuff, and we do recruiting and retention, that kind of stuff. And but one of the other things is we support families of soldiers who are overseas, and that's a big mission of ours. We tell the Army story. So with that said, we're going to sing a song, American Soldier. Trying to be a father. So you asked what our favorite town in Arkansas to play is, but if I had to answer the question, what was our favorite mission? Last summer when we backfilled in Kentucky for the 101st Airborne Band, we got to play a really cool set at the Fourth Fest in Madisonville, Kentucky, and we opened for Craig Morgan and Aaron Tippin on a huge stage, big sound system, thousands of people. It was a lot of fun.
It was amazing.
I asked what favorite town, what favorite song. Y'all have a favorite song or genre that y'all like to play?
My favorite song, I know it's going to differ between all of us, so I'm going to go first, and I'm going to let Sergeant Perkins follow up. My favorite song, because I'm a vocalist and I just like to have fun on the stage, we play Come Together by the Beatles. Man, that one kills it every time, and it's so much fun for me as the vocalist. People tend to love it, but it doesn't matter because I love it. So, what's your song?
No, she's right. We all disagree on the genre because we all come from different backgrounds. But I grew up in the '90s and early 2000s in high school, and so alternative punk rock is my thing. So we played "The Middle" by Jim Eat World. Love that song. It's so fun to jam to, and it's just a good one.
I think you like it because there's a huge guitar solo in it.
There is a huge guitar solo in there, yes.
What will y'all be? I mean, I asked you earlier about this. Any favorite song playing tonight?
We're actually playing both of those tonight.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. We're going to do Michael Jackson. We're going to play some Journey. And, of course, Jimmy Eat World, and then the Beatles. We've got a few country songs in there. Sergeant Perkins does an amazing job singing American Soldier, which, I mean, that's pretty much our lives when we're here. We're the American soldiers. So he does a phenomenal job at that.
And we sort of use that song to tell the Army story, too.
We do.
Bring awareness to what's going on in these soldiers' lives and the families' lives and that kind of stuff. So it usually is a pretty good crowd pleaser.
I know it's hot, but y'all still having fun? Yeah! Keeping you out of class, or y'all got something else you gotta be doing? Yeah. Ooh. We'll stay a little bit.
What do you love about being in the band?
You want me to go?
Yeah, you go, and I'll go to that.
Okay. So, being in the military in general is hard. I was active duty for 11 years, and a lot of times you have soldiers come and go and come and go and come and go, and you don't get camaraderie. Well, this place, I was talking about retiring about 3 months ago. I was talking about retiring. Absolutely, I will not retire from these people. The 106 Army Band is my extended family, and we are so close. Sergeant Perkins and I talk to each other at least once a week. Even not on drill weekend, and even if it's not to do with Army band things. Like it's, hey, how are you doing? How is your wife and kids? Like, what's going on? And he'll ask me, hey, you doing okay? We just kind of, we're a family. Like, this is my brother that wasn't ever really my brother. And there's so many people sitting right outside of this door that, I mean, absolute family. And they're so passionate about what they do. Like the level of musicianship and the level of absolute outstanding soldiers is sitting right outside there. And there is no bigger family in the entire military than Army bands.
So I originally got in because of the student loan repayment. I was coming out of college and I saw a booth that was talking about $50,000 student loan repayment. I was like, oh man, I have college loans. Let me do that. And so that's why I really got in, you know. And as I've been in 14 years and my mindset has sort of progressed in what I value about being in. It's one thing to say, why did you get in? It's another to say, why'd you stay? And I stayed because as I've progressed, I was a band director for the first 6 years of my career, and then I transitioned to the dark side, which is school administration. And the band has some of the highest ASVAB scores in the military because we're all educated people. We largely go to university. Some of us have 6 to 8 years worth of degrees, and so we're hit to go to OCS, or we're hit to be warrant officers and this kind of stuff, or to go to other units to fill a first sergeant spot, 7 slots. But we stay here, I think, as personally, because my civilian job is serious enough as it is, and the band gives me that opportunity to do something I've devoted my whole life to. Aside from the relationships, which I agree with her on, we get to be in this small niche of people that can serve the Army in a very specific way that the majority of the public will never get to do, and so it's a really special thing to do.
Where my country boys and girls at? There you go, right? And some of y'all are like, oh, not so excited about it. Where my rockers at? Yeah. Here we go, are you ready?
The Aviation Gunnery Course of Fire on Camp Robinson has attracted the attention of aviation units in surrounding states since it opened in January, so I visited the 77th Theater Aviation Brigade to ask how the new training area was living up to expectations. We're outside the Flight Operations Center at the Army Aviation Support Facility on Camp Robinson, and I'm speaking with
Captain Gonzalez. I'm currently the safety officer for the support facility.
Sergeant First Class Courtney Murray. I'm the standardization instructor for Charlie Company, 1st and 185.
So it's been since January that y'all have had the Aviation Course of Fire. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, so the Aero Gunner Course of Fire, we validated and it went live in January of this year. That is correct.
And how has it been going so far?
It's been going well. We've been able to validate it both on the full-time side as well as during annual training. We had our assault company, Sergeant Courtney and her team, or Sergeant Murray and her team, actually got to complete their entire company through the course of fire during annual training.
So what was the vision? Why did we need an aerial course of fire here at Camp Robinson?
I guess myself and Sergeant Murray can both answer that one. Been the vision, I think, since 2015-ish, something like that. They've started working a course of fire here at Camp Robinson that allows us to execute during our additional flight training periods during the week, as well as a drill weekend, and it's a little bit more logistically sound.
No, he's right. We do it here at home station. We fuel here. We put the aircraft up. They're safe from weather, and it's better to do that on home station than move an entire company and coordinate fuel from another entity and get their range set up for them to be able to do the FARP for us. It's more convenient here.
Were there any unexpected challenges that y'all had to face once it was set up?
Some of the big challenges that we did face here was more so the environmental side of the house. We had to go back, if I do recall, we went back years and years to have to discover that it was originally a range out where the current course of fire is. That at one point in time it was a range, it had an environmental clearance, and we kind of worked really with the environmental office to get the approval to start shooting back on that.
So what attention has it brought to Camp Robinson since it's been up and running from surrounding states and around the 54?
Okay, so great. So since we validated it and we've gone really live with the course of fire in the training area, currently have 3 different aviation states to include Blackhawks and Chinooks, both requesting access. We have a unit right now that's actually scheduled to shoot it in June next year for their annual training. When we're at Chaffee, they're going to come here and execute that course of fire. So it's brought a lot of attention to what Camp Robinson can offer. It benefits by it doesn't necessarily shut down training areas that are impacting other units. We can completely close off that training area with little impact. So when units are coming in, the small arms ranges can continue with no impact.
So I was able to ride with y'all back in January, I believe, when you were just looking at the course of fire. How much more challenging is this course of fire than say, what y'all have shot in the past?
We're able to go out there and change targets, move targets, change up the scenarios so you're not looking at the same thing every single time we go through. And it's more challenging for the door gunner and more realistic for the door gunner to be able to shoot at different targets at different distances and change it up, because when we go to the actual fight, the target is not going to be in the exact same spot all the time with the exact same weapons, and they need to be able to see what surface to air weapons that we see, the different ones and what they may look like and where they can engage us from. Challenging equals fun, I think, and different equals fun for troops when they're not doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Are there a variety of weapon systems that you can use on this range, or is it strictly the 240 Hotel that y'all use?
So right now with the how we've worked with targetry, range control, and our safety office is that the 240 Hotel, that weapon system is what is currently only certified, and our WDZs, weapon danger zones, is that specific type round is what's been cleared right now, which the benefit of that is most of your Army aviation, if not all, have that capability. So it doesn't restrict other units from coming in to utilize it because we're all using the same weapon system.
Looking toward the future, what benefits do you see this aerial course of fire bringing to Camp Robinson?
You want to answer that? You want me to?
The other states come in to help us. We've only shot it. We did the validation and then we shot it one time. Obviously, it's not perfect. Other companies and other units are going to come in and maybe help us make changes and make the range better, which will hopefully in turn bring in more units, and that brings more money for our state, for our ranges, for Camp Robinson to improve whatever range control needs to improve, just our general ranges, just bringing attention from everybody else. And hey, we're going to go to Arkansas, and then we end up meeting more aviation brethren in fellowship. They're going to come stay here, where it's endless on the possibilities that it can help just the state of Arkansas and Camp Robinson and our facilities.
Has NGB reached out to y'all at all?
Not to my knowledge that NGB has not reached out to us yet, especially with us considering it's course fire, it's a training area, live fire, TA area. Right now it's really been more state to state with post operations working that. They've been really good working with that. This course of fire here is roughly about 12 kilometers long. This range is going to open up opportunities to allow multi-ship door gunnery that we have not been able to experience except for up in mobilizations, Fort Sill, Fort Hood, and some of those other areas. It also allows us to expand, we necessarily say the aerial gunnery from the companies, but we like to start seeing is the expansion to our squad designated marksmanship, as well as the sniper schoolhouse that we currently do at Chaffee. We'll take snipers out, we'll go shoot on their range. This range here allows them to do it here at Camp Robinson. Quick, easy turns. They can go out and utilize this training area for their weapon system as well, and start incorporating more outside of aviation into a live fire training exercise.
A couple of years, I think it'll be more improved. There'll be more aspects to talk about it, I believe.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming out here and talking to me about it. I was fascinated by it back in January, and it's good to see it that it's coming together. Much appreciated.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm speaking with Wanda Collins, a behavioral health case manager with the Arkansas National Guard. Explain to me what is the process if a guardsman during drill has a mental health crisis and would like to talk to somebody?
The procedure would be reaching out to command, letting command know that there is an issue going on, and then the service member and command will reach out to behavioral health there at Camp Robinson. And then they will talk with them and kind of assess and see what their needs are, and then go from there.
And where would they go normally? Would that be down to Medcom?
Yes, they would go to Medcom.
And what about between drills? If a guardsman has a mental health crisis in between drills,
they would actually reach out to Medcom directly. If you'll go to the Arkansas National Guard site and click on behavioral health, you have Major Tillman, our BHO listed, and then the case managers are listed up under him. And each one of the case managers live in a different part of Arkansas, and so you could see which one is closer to you and reach out to that person directly. We all, not only do we have our office phones, but we also have our cell phone numbers. And so if we do get a call in the late afternoon or on the weekend that it's not drill, we do answer those calls and reach back out to the service member if we're contacted. So you can always reach out to one of us 24/7.
If they're not at Camp Robinson, say if they're at Fort Chaffee or at their local armory, who can they contact?
Okay, they can contact, we have a case manager there in the Fort Chaffee area. Her name is Alicia Reeves, and she is also listed on the website with her contact information, and that's who they can contact if they are having a behavioral health issue in the Fort Chaffee area. Now in the Northeast Arkansas, the Northeast area of the state, that's where I am housed. I'm housed in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and so I cover the armories in that Northeast Arkansas area down probably until about Cabot, I believe. So we all have our areas that we cover, but, if you reach out to any one of us, we can get you to where you need to be.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Is there anything I didn't ask that maybe we should get out there? Any other information?
Something I would like for them to know is that it doesn't always have to be, you have to be in behavioral health crisis. If it's just that you need some information on behavioral health and just have some questions that you're not sure about, as professionals, we can talk to you about that and get you answers that you need, or find you the resource that you need. And then also, we also help with not only the service member, but their family. If they have a family member that's in need of some mental health help, or they're looking for some mental health resources for family, we help with that as well. So I want them to know too, it's just not just the soldier, but including their families as well. If you can just Google Arkansas National Guard, and then the official site will come up.
You're listening to Drill Weekend with the Arkansas Army National Guard.
Two girls back there, they know the whole thing. Y'all come up here and sing next time.
During the show at Youth Challenge on Camp Robinson, I talked with Sergeant Leslie Sellers, who normally plays bass for Charlie Rock, and asked him about the challenges of becoming a self-taught drummer.
Right now we're playing for the Youth Challenge group here at Camp Robinson. Just giving them a little rock show.
How often do you play for you? No, it's good, it's good.
You can hear them in the background. Yeah, we play for them every year. We put on a little rock show for them just to kind of keep their morale up, keep their spirit up, give us another gig under our belt.
Self-taught for the drums, is that right?
Well, for the drum set, yes. This is my first kind of time to play drum set specifically. I've always kind of done drums on the side. When I was in high school, I was in marching band. I played the snare, and I played marching drums through college, so I kind of had the hands for it already.
So you just the original drummer, he left to go to school?
Yeah, he went to sergeant school, basically, school so he could promote to go to the next level. But that left us without a drummer for this AT. Normally, I play bass and guitar, but because of my somewhat percussion background, I stepped into the role of drum set.
So how hard?
It was a challenge. The biggest part that was a challenge was the feet work, because with playing drums in a marching band environment, you just use your hands. Your feet aren't doing anything. But with the drum set, your feet are extremely involved, especially your right foot playing that bass drum pedal, and your left foot also controls the hi-hat down and up choke. And that was the biggest challenge for me, is to put the feet together with the hands. But I spent a lot of meal time just practicing, a lot of after-duty hours practicing, listening to the tracks over and over, trying to get the groove, trying to get independence between my hands and my feet. And I feel like I got at least enough to keep time for the group.
So tell me, what do you enjoy most about playing the drums?
Oh man, it's a full body experience. It's like a combination of that good feeling you get when you work out, plus that amazing feeling you get when you're playing good music, but with your whole body. It's really a one of a kind experience.
So tell me, what is the more experience since you've been in the band? What do you love about the band, I guess?
Oh man, what I love about the band is it gives me a musical outlet, to play with other really experienced musicians. And yeah, right. They're really cheering for all the band members. It gives me an outlet musically and creatively. I get to play a lot of different instruments that I don't normally have an outlet to play at home and in my civilian career. So I really love that. I love the relationships I build with my fellow bandmates. They're some of my best friends in the world. It's a good organization, great experience to be in.
Is there a favorite song you like to play?
My favorite song this AT to learn was The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. It's a really challenging drum set part for me. It wouldn't be for a normal drum set player, but for me it was really challenging to learn, and just some really cool syncopation and just digging into that groove. Felt really nice.
With you later when you've had a little bit more experience doing this.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. Anybody who's an actual drummer would hear me play and know, hey, that's not a real drummer. But hopefully I at least fooled everybody else.
It was really good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I don't know. He's kind of new. Chris Stapleton. Y'all know who he is? Well, this is the girl version of Chris Stapleton. Here we go.
Developed during World War II to set up drop zones at night or bad weather, Pathfinder-trained soldiers have become a must-have for National Guard units, as units across the 54 face a myriad of real-world missions that need aviation assets during a crisis. We're in the Bowie Team Auditorium at the Quartzmire, Arkansas National Guard Readiness Center, and I'm speaking to Staff Sergeant Michael Morales. He's with the Pathfinder instructors here. What brings you here to Camp Robinson?
Okay. Again, yeah, I'm Staff Sergeant Michael Morales out here with the Army National Guard Warrior Training Center Pathfinder School. We were asked to come out by the Arkansas National Guard from Fort Moore in Georgia, where we're based, and we are teaching an intensive Pathfinder course that lasts approximately it's 14 days of training. And so we cover everything from sling load operations to helicopter landing zones. That's kind of my specialty. That's where I work. I'm the phase chief for that. So we talk about the selecting, establishing, and marking of helicopter landing zones, as well as the operation of those landing zones. And then the final phase being the drop zones phase. So again, you're talking about the selecting, establishing, marking, and operation of those drop zones. It's been a great opportunity to come out here. It's kind of, we're professional instructors. So this is what we do for the Army National Guard in support of the 50 states and the 4 territories to kind of increase the lethality and the ability of those forces. And it's been a great opportunity. I love traveling personally, and I love traveling for work and instructing and teaching. It's something I have a great passion for, and in particular for being a Pathfinder. I went to a Pathfinder school a few years ago, and I've had the opportunity to do it operationally, both here, CONUS, and also abroad in more of an operational environment in Afghanistan and Iraq. It's been a real benefit to me personally, and I think it's a real benefit to the Army as well.
Well, how has the class been? You've been here for a week now, I understand?
So the class size was typical for what we start with, 50, right in that range there. The class has been very motivated. A majority of the class is from the Arkansas National Guard, and I think that's great because now we increase not only the lethality of it, because this is the United States Army, and that's what we do. We fight and win the nation's wars. But as the National Guard in particular, we have our support to civilian authorities, which that's a big thing that maybe gets overlooked in terms of Pathfinder School, because in the event of tornadoes, unfortunately, we know they happen here in Little Rock as well as all over the country. Flooding, that's something that I'm familiar with, being from the Heuston, Texas area. The National Guard is out there, out front with all the other first responders, whether it be firefighters or police officers. In fact, a lot of people who are in the National Guard are also first responders. So I like to see when the states, the planners at the states, the NCOs and the officers understand that there is a multi-function that we have to do as the National Guard. So when they send them here to the school, we talk a lot, because that's what we do. We talk a lot about fighting, but we also talk a lot about the support to civilians as well. So the students have been great. They're asking a lot of great questions, I understand as an instructor, there's a test, and they certainly want to be prepared for the test, but they're also doing a lot. I've been impressed with the amount of critical thinking that they are doing beyond just what's on the slide, what's on the test. I'm an instructor. I understand that's the way it goes. People want to pass a test. You have to pass the test to be successful, but they're really getting involved. We had a great opportunity. General Shepard was here yesterday, spoke to the class, and I feel the motivation is certainly there, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to come out here and instruct the fine service members from the Arkansas National Guard.
You mentioned the floods and the hurricanes and the fires and whatnot. What does the average soldier get? What knowledge base does he gain from taking the Pathfinder course?
So really, it's multifaceted, and there's so much that you can take from the Pathfinder School. And what I tell the students, and I really believe to be true, it's on you once you leave the course, because what was told to me a few years ago by the former Sergeant Major for the Warrior Training Center, Sergeant Major Snow, is that we provide you institutional knowledge, and then you turn that institutional knowledge into operational knowledge. So what they take from us, they take the basics, and they can turn those basics exponentially and really put them into practice. So for example, again, my thing is helicopter landing zones. So you can establish the helicopter landing zones, and you can use those landing zones and fly the helicopters, and you can think back to that first phase, which I mentioned was sling loads, and you can pick up, whether it be pallets of food, pallets of water, and in the event of an emergency in the state, you can move those resources from one spot to the next quickly and efficiently. So the students, those are some of the things that they can take from the course. We provide them the base knowledge, then they get back to their units, and then they determine what they're actually going to do when they turn into operational knowledge. But again, because of the National Guard, we have to wear two hats. We have a greater responsibility in that respect than the active massive component, because not only do we fight and win the nation's wars, but when our neighbors, who are our brothers, our sisters, our cousins, our mothers, our fathers, in a statewide emergency, they call on us, and we have to be active as well. So that's one of the things we talk about, is how to best support the civilian mission as well. So again, just a prime example. You take the helicopters that I talk about them in terms of their warfighting function and maneuvering troops around the battlefield, but I also talk about them in the event of a statewide emergency. How can you use those assets available to you to best support civilian authorities?
So next week is the FTX. What are you wanting to see? What's going to challenge these soldiers and one Marine, I believe? What's going to challenge them next week that you'll be looking forward to evaluating them on?
Well, we're going to put some stress on them. Some of it is intentional from us. Some of it is internal from them, because they are being evaluated during the FTX. And it can be difficult, because depending on what their particular background is, they might not have a lot of experience dealing with sling load operations, dealing with helicopter landing zones operations, in particular dealing with drop zone operations. So their inherent complexity of the mission is going to raise the stress level, but we're there to coach. We're NCO, so we coach, teach, and mentor and get them through. So what we're looking for is confidence. That's the biggest thing. We understand it's 14 days. I've been doing this as an instructor for 2.5, almost 3 years. I have a higher level of competence and confidence, which I understand, than somebody who's only had, at that point, maybe 10 days of instruction. So we're looking for confidence, because you know what you know. And certainly execute on it. And we're also looking for a level of competence, because they have been in here, they have been tested, they've been taught quite a bit, and then just the general motivation and kind of the positive attitude, because it's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna be an absolute challenge, and Murphy is there. Murphy is waiting. He's waiting out in the wood line for us, and things are gonna go wrong. And we're looking to see, how do they adapt when things go wrong? What is their level of motivation when things go wrong? We're there as instructors. We're always available at any point if they have questions. Of course, we're not just going to give it away, but we're certainly going to guide them in the direction that they need to go, and then let them, like I said, develop those critical thinking steps, go through their troop leading procedures, because this is the Army, and that's what we do: develop a plan and then execute on that plan. It might not always go the way that they had hoped, or based on their plan, but we're not looking for the final product as much as we're looking for the plan and the execution of that plan.
All right, Staff Sgt. Well, tell me this. What do you love about teaching this class? I could sense that you've been up there a while. I could tell by your professionalism in front of the class. So what do you like about teaching this? This is great. That's a great question. I love being an NCO in the Army. I love training soldiers. We are the backbone of the Army. And when I'm up front, that is something that's always paramount. It's always in the back of my mind. How am I making the force better? I bring a particular level of enthusiasm, which I'm sure if you ask any of the students, maybe some quirky things that I say or do, but because I'm passionate about it. I love being a trainer. I love training soldiers. I love, increasing the ability of the force, because turning them into force multipliers. That's my role, is to essentially, when I was talking with one of the students, as a matter of fact, Sergeant Omaha, shout out to him, talking about training the trainer and the importance of that. And that's what we do, and that's what I absolutely love doing, is increasing the lethality of the force by putting those force multipliers in there. Because if I put a Pathfinder in your unit, I've now made it easier for you to safely and expeditiously move aircraft in and around your site. The more aircraft you can move in and around your site safely and expeditiously, now you have that ability to achieve surprise and gain the initiative, which in the end ensures mission success. So that, again, that's why I love doing it. I love instructing. I love improving the forces. I love the Army. It might sound kind of corny and kind of cliche, but I do it. I love the Army. I love being a part of it. I love putting on this uniform every day. The fact that it says U.S. Army, that's
that's something I take a lot of pride in. So I absolutely love it.
Tell me, is there anything I didn't ask about the Pathfinder course that you like to tell people that you want people to know about?
I would really say, come to Pathfinder School. Come to Pathfinder School. There's a website that's on there, and it'll tell you all the requirements that you need to come to Pathfinder School. But look into it. I tell the students that's the best advocate for Pathfinders is the students themselves once they get back to the units, because they're going to leave here with a particular set of skills that they can share with their unit. They can share with their command team. Let them know the importance of coming to Pathfinder School, because the only way that we are going to grow as professionals, as Pathfinders, is by people coming to the school. So I highly recommend it. If you're at home in Washington or Iowa or Oregon, wherever you might be, or Mississippi, and you're listening to this and you're wondering, should you absolutely should. You should come to Pathfinder School. You should bring the MTT, the WTC. We specialize in it. Bring us to your state, and we'll put on a great product. And again, we will make you a better force because of it, particularly as I said, and when it comes to supporting the state mission as well as the national mission. There's always a need for Pathfinders. If we're not careful, it'll go away. But there's always a need for Pathfinders.
Thank you very much, Staff Sergeant. Thank you for sharing your part of your lunchtime with me to tell me about Pathfinder School, or the Pathfinder course.
I'm happy to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Creating a great sonic experience isn't just about playing an instrument well. There's a lot of setup and adjustments necessary to get the sound as perfect as possible, whether indoors or out. I spoke to Sergeant Richard King, the music production technician for the 106th Army Band, after his sound check in the Camp Robinson MWR Rock Lounge.
I think I picked up that bad cable again.
I'm at the Rock Lounge in the MWR complex at Camp Robinson, speaking to Sergeant Richard King with the 106th Army Band. You guys are setting up for a rock show.
Yes, correct.
It looked like a pretty elaborate setup. Is that something you learn in school, or is that something you have to learn on the job?
Well, I definitely go through that at school. However, this is something that I did on the civilian side for a number of years. And before I learned that there was actually a job opening here, I had a recording studio and I ran live sound. So this is something that I've had a little bit of experience with.
So what would a new soldier expect if he knew how to play an instrument, but he never really played in a band? What's the learning curve for coming to the 106? How much do soldiers learn when they get here?
Well, just in general, you get a lot of your experience. I'm sure anybody who's been in the service before knows that you get a lot of your experience after school, and you come here and you learn about the culture, the environment, and how to play in front of crowds. And that's where you get a bulk of your experience. But say a new soldier coming in that just learned an instrument and they've come play with our group, other than getting over stage fright and learning how to play in front of a crowd, it's pretty much plug and play with me. I get everybody coming through, reinforce their sound, to just have a great sonic experience for the audience to enjoy.
And I guess it's, from what I've noticed from interviewing the 106, many of you all are multifaceted when it comes to playing different instruments and understanding music. Is that a common trait in just amongst musicians that join the military, or is that just the 106th?
Well, typically musicians that I've seen have been interested in playing multiple instruments. However, particularly in this group that I've worked with the 106, it's a little more common to see someone who plays more than one instrument. So is it just this group? I'm not sure, but I will say in my experience, that's what I've observed.
So tell me, what brought you to the 106?
Well, I actually joined in 2006 as a cook. I had done that for a number of years, transferred over to the 87th and worked with the 216th back in 2013. And then in 2018, I had learned that they had a non-X-ray position, reinforcement engineer. And I auditioned, and then next thing you know, here I am with the unit. Probably the best decision I've ever made.
And how long have you been with the 106? Help me with the math.
2018, yes. 2018, yes.
So, in that time, what do you really like about being in the band? What do you love about being in the band?
Well, it's a really great group of people that are really passionate about what they do. Just a group of professionals. They're easy to work with, great camaraderie. Everybody cares about each other. We look out for each other. We enjoy what we do. We love going out and performing. And of course, with music, you have so much creative freedom to do something and create something together. And I think that's really what kind of ties everything in.
So your job with the sound booth, how difficult is that to learn?
Well, it changes from environment to, from one environment to the other. Nothing's ever really the same. And I don't know if you were listening through sound checks, but with ear fatigue and things like that, people's in-ears can change up, and sometimes you have to reduce or take and add to. And it is very, it can be stressful at times, but it is, from top to bottom, it is very involved process.
So we're in the dining area of the Rock Lounge. How difficult is it to set up here, say, opposed to when y'all were at a Youth Challenge earlier in the week?
Well, really, the only challenges that we really incur on situations like this, just finding out where we're going to get power and, moving the set around just to make sure we can accommodate ourselves and the audience. And that's really most of the challenges we face as a team. On my side, I have to do a lot of equalization with the sound, to make sure that lower frequencies, aren't coming out like your bass booms, when you hear a bass guitar bloom out really big. Just kind of taking things like that into consideration and creating a mix that everybody can enjoy.
So explain the set tonight. You guys are playing for an hour. What is that? Is that typical for what y'all normally do, or is?
Well, typically we do schedule for at least an hour and a half, but that can vary from time to time depending on the situation and what the people that had requested us to come play, whatever they want. We do anything from 30-minute sets to, it can fluctuate just depending on the mission.
All right, well, thank you very much, Sergeant King. I appreciate you coming away from the sound booth and let me know what was going on around here.
No problem.
This has been Drill Weekend with the Arkansas Army National Guard. I'm Sergeant First Class Jim Heuston. Thank you for joining us. See you next drill.